I work on in the Congressional Black Caucus, and I know it's too long an issue to talk, but I welcome the opportunity to talk with you about the immigration issue. Any of you who know about Texas and may have heard about Tulia, I have legislation on that working with John Conyers, and that was when they souped up a whole bunch of folk and it was untrue, and they got them on drug charges and half their lives were thrown away. We're going to write legislation on Gina. We're looking at what we do with prosecutorial misconduct, and so we're interested in that, and I will leave you that Pastor, these gentlemen are revolutionaries themselves. Elijah, passionate, raised by his parents. He is a leader on the snitching issue. I hope he will talk about that. I'm joining his legislation, looking at some expanded. I want to thank him for his leadership among many others. And I want to thank Pastor Emmanuel Cleaver for trying to get us all to understand hate crimes. And I hope in this discussion, Pastor Cleaver, that you will get the opportunity to address how we can solve our issues. As I see my leader, Barbara Williams-Skinner, on that issue, how do we leave here understanding this whole question of hate crimes? If we can do that, I think that we will have made great strides. Again, John Conyers is the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. We're already making history. Pastors and preachers and people of faith, we want to work with you. And my one political note is help us take back the White House in 2008. I know that politics, sometimes you say that there is a sameness, but the one good thing about the party that we're in, you're in the house, you're in the door, the darts can come directly at us. We feel the pain when you suggest that we are not meeting our obligations. Unfortunately, now in these conditions, there is no pain that is felt. So we ask you to help us in 2008 to make a difference. To God be the glory for the great things He has done. Thank you.
Somebody wrote some sermon titles. We will hear that. I know y'all ready to make the sermon for tomorrow, but that's going to be on next week's sermon, Revolution. I can hear it now. I wish I could just attend all y'all's churches. I just wanted to do two quick things, and then I want Congressman Cleaver to come in.
Elijah, may I just thank the Speaker of the Hour? I think that's what it is.
Yes, it is, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
My eyes didn't catch you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You all need it, don't you?
Yeah. Thank you. Let me tell you what we're going to do here. Congressman Cleaver will come up immediately after me. I'm going to be very brief. And then we want to hear from you all. And I want to just talk about two issues that I want you to take back to your congregations. One of the things that concerns me probably more than anything else is how our people are losing their houses. And some of us, as in my church, my pastor is Dr. Walter Scott Thomas, and I told Dr. Thomas, I said, Doc, we're bringing people into our churches to teach them about buying a house after renting one. But Doc, we got to vet these people.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
We got to vet them. Because there are too many people who are going into, and I'm talking about black people, the people who sit in your pews. And you know, they come to you, they seek your advice, and they simply want a piece of the all-American dream. They're tired. They're tired of putting a nail in a wall and telling their children, don't make that hole too big because we're going to get our security deposit back. They're tired of that. And so they want to take their money and buy something. And then they go out and they get a subprime loan. And a lot of times they qualify for a conventional loan at a cheaper rate. And the next thing you know, and the way they qualify is they usually only qualify for a few years, and then it balloons up. And even when and the reason why I'm telling you this is because it's so important. I mean, because all of us have people in our congregations that are going through this. So it balloons up. So say the payment was at first $1,000, it balloons up to maybe $1,500. Now for some people that's not a big, it doesn't mean anything. People in my district, it means a lot. Then they're not able to make the payments. Next thing you know, they lose their house. And then people say, well, we told y'all that it was going to balloon up. Well, you know how it is. They're so anxious to get the house, or they tell them you're going to be able to refinance. And then circumstances turn into in a way where the property value goes down. So it's almost impossible to refinance, and refinancing is more difficult. I think what I'm saying to you, what I'm trying to tell you is that we in the caucus are working on Maxine Waters, and many others of us are working on ways to protect our borrowers, our people getting mortgages, from these unscrupulous folk. They'll give them an appraisal, for example, that, you know, if it's a $200 house, they kick it up to $350 and stuff like that. So the person paying for a $250 house, I mean, they're paying $350 rates for a $250 house, and things of that nature. So we're trying to get to that, but we need you all to be vigilant too. And there are a lot of great, don't get me wrong, a lot of great folk will tell you that subprime is very important, and that it's important that subprime allows some people that may be marginal to get into a house, and that's true. But if they're going to be kicked out in the end, then their dream is killed, and there's nothing like a dream to stomp down in the ground. Because you know what that means? Then they got to come back. First of all, they got to dig themselves up and get to level ground so that they can go forward. So that means that may be 7 or 8 years, maybe 10 years, before they can regroup and get another house. So I just want to ask you to take a look at that. We will have, I hope we have all your email addresses and whatever. We're going to be sending you some information about that, because we want you to do that. Sometimes we have good intentions, and sometimes those intentions, unfortunately, fall the wrong way. The other thing that I want you to take a look at is, and this, Sheila Jackson-Lee talked about this, there was a time when I remember when I first went to Congress, went to the legislature in 1982, I had a tremendous concern about the criminal folk. Now I want you to hear me now. I agree, I am very much for what has happened. As a matter of fact, we worked as a caucus very hard on the Gina. Is it Gina or Gina? Gina 6. And we worked, I got the Howard University law students to get involved in that. And they've been very active and raised some money and that kind of thing. But let me just tell you something that's happening. This stop snitching thing is serious. See, in our culture, they say if you tell, or if you cooperate with the police, you snitch it. But can I give you the flip side of that? Somebody in Baltimore can walk in here, this was in Baltimore right now, and we had these 2 tables full of people. Somebody can literally walk and blow your brains out. And everybody in these tables know it. Know who did it, but nobody will testify. That's that, I'm telling you, that's serious. If you want your criminal justice system to fall apart, that's an easy way to do it, because what happens is not only does that person get away to do it again, but it emboldens other people to do the same thing. We've got about 30–40% of the trials in Baltimore, I mean, talking about murder cases, that we cannot take to trial because people are scared to testify. So what we've done is we've introduced legislation, which I understand is going to pass within the next week or so, which is going